You're listening to the Blacktop Banter podcast, the premier podcast in the asphalt industry, made for contractors with contractors.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Blacktop Banter, and we're fortunate we're in the Blacktop Banter office today, so I get to dip out of the solo studio and set up for a double. And the podcast's been going now, this will be year 4, and one of our very first sponsors was Liberty Supply. You guys know that I've used Liberty Supply for spray tips, for street brooms, for flagging tape, for whatever Sam's got in the shed that I walk by and take a look at and say, I need that. And I thought it would be great to get Sam in here today. So when you call on the phone over to Liberty Supply, Sam answers, which is ironic nowadays because not a lot of people do that, right. Sam, which you know. Right. But we've never sat down and had a conversation about Liberty Supply, how it started, how it came into you and your brother Mike owning it, and what you guys all do. Once I kind of got hearing some stories where you're like, when I was like, hey, I need like 10 tips, you're like, oh, well, we just sent out 10 55-gallon drums to so-and-so over here. I'm like, dude, who needs that many spray tips? Like, what is going on? So I thought it'd be great to get you in here and let people kind of get to know you a little bit more and your guys' process and what you do. We know in the asphalt industry that our suppliers, our manufacturers, our distributors are the backbone of what keeps us going in our time crunch that we do have in our season here in the north. Yep. Fortunately, I'll tell the background story. Sure. But, fortunately, you're not too far away, right? So I looked in the ad in Pavement Mag.
This is a wild story.
This is, right, a while back. And I was like, hey, I need some spray tips, whatever, coming up. And you're like, okay, I'll ship them. Tell me your address. I give you my address, and it's Lone Rock. And you're like, dude, you're only like 20 minutes from me.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I was like, for real? He's like, yeah. He's like, where are you at? And so then you described where you were at, and it was the same day. I was like, well, I'm just going to come there. Yep. And you're like, oh, not too many people do that. I'm like, well, I am. We're going to come over there and take a look. And since then, man, we've become good friends. Yeah. We golf often. We text each other often. We know each other's families pretty well. You guys get to hang out with Eli once in a while.
Eli bought his dirt bike from us.
Yeah, Eli bought his dirt bike from you. Yeah, so we've been able to connect and stuff. But it's just kind of a wild story. But I want you to give your background, your family's background, I think would be great too, because whenever we tell people we're from Wisconsin, they're like, oh, cows and milk and cheese and everything. Yep. And you guys play a part in the beef.
Yeah, that's actually pretty true in this story.
So give us a little bit of a background of y'all and your family.
Yeah, I'm one of 5 kids. We grew up, like you said, 15, 20 minutes from here, right outside of Mazomanie. Yep. And grew up on a dairy farm. Stopped milking cows in 2000, and that was when Mike, my brother, who is partners with me in this, went to college. So we stopped milking then, and then my parents he went to Wisconsin to play basketball. There was no time to farm and watch him play. Yep. And then on top of that, everyone in my family played basketball as well. So then it was sporting events took over their lives once we got into high school and college.
Which isn't a bad thing.
No, it was pretty fun. So we had dairy.
They realized they didn't have to pay for Mike's college.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So they're like, we don't have to work anymore.
No, I wish it was that good, but yeah, he had a good thing going for him. He had a scholarship to play at Wisconsin. That was cool. Yep. It was fun watching him play. And then all the rest of us were playing at the same time, just in high school. And my second oldest brother was also in college playing. So that was fun. Then after that. After he was done at Wisconsin, he went overseas and played basketball. And then, I was in college playing basketball as well.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to MATC first, and then I transferred from there to Platteville. Okay. Played basketball there as well. And then once I got out of school, we were actually going up to Minnesota to watch my sister play basketball. Yeah. And she played for Mankato. So we went, and when we were staying up there, we reunited with a classmate of my dad, who owned Liberty Supply, and had no idea what Liberty Supply was, and no idea anything about the asphalt industry. I would drive by pavers, parking lots that were just seal coated, never even think twice about it. Yeah. The minute we got into this business, I'm like, every time I see a black driveway or parking lot now, my eyes are like, who's doing this? Who's doing it? Yeah. I'm like trying to figure out everything I know about it. It's funny.
Yeah, you started picking my brain pretty crazy when we first met. Right? You're like, even though you were like selling the process stuff, you're like, I know they're buying this. What do you use it for?
100%.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna get interesting.
Exactly. I was like, there were things that we were selling that were pretty simple, like wire street booms. I get what those are used for, but then I'm like thinking, well, Marvin, this is that spray wand. You had a spray wand. You did a video, and you had the end of it bent, and I'm like,
why you got that bent?
And you gave me the best thing. Because of my angle to the earth, it's just better for me.
Yeah, I'm short. Yeah.
So it's like when you think about tools and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, they're pretty basic, but then everyone's got their own little twist on them.
They do
little rigs that they make up for themselves.
So you joined some of the Facebook groups early on. And really started to get educated quite a bit on
Big
that.
time. I just took all the information I could.
And we've both dodged out of that after a while here when it got really heavy and there was a lot of stuff. You get burnt out in there. It's great. It's great if you're looking to get information and get started. And but after a while, you kind of know what you need to know, and your presence gets known in the industry. One thing I think that's really unique about what you guys do, and we'll get back into the business and what you guys provide and what you guys do, but. One thing I think that's really unique about you all is, we were talking a little bit about it beforehand, that little ad that I called that is in Pavement Mag. Are you guys in APE?
APE.
Yeah, so in both magazines, that ad and the advertising that you do here at Blacktop Banter is really the only form of marketing that you all do. But if you say Liberty Supply to anybody who owns a business, they know of you.
Or at least heard, hopefully.
Or at least, have heard of you guys. How does that happen?
Honestly, it's when I think back about it, when I talk to people who call and reach out that are first-time customers, it's typically either they heard about us and looked us up on the website, or it's generally word of mouth through those Facebook forums or any sort of asphalt group like that, or just honestly, we've had a lot of distributors of ours who. Have customers that have been asking about this, and this, and they refer them direct to us.
Direct to you,
just because it makes
it's easy to work with.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our distributors have been amazing customers of ours, and they want what's best for their client as well. Mm-hmm. So if it's going to help them out, they want to do it.
It's kind of crazy, that early investment of us sinking into the Facebook groups, me posting content and trying to help people, you guys being a great resource for them and supplier for them. Like I said, we're kind of unplugged from those now, but we know that, and I think that's why we work together really good. There's a lot of trust between you and I and your brother and I and what we do, because we both know we're good people. We want to work with good people. We want to be honest. We want to make things right. We want what's best for our industry and whatnot. I think that those two attitudes in both of our organizations came through in those postings of those groups when we were in there and we'd be in the comment sections and stuff. Mm-hmm. They had interactions with us, each of us, and then, now we're not in there so much, but yet those interactions are still being fruitful, because there's people in those groups that will, I see, like, somebody asks a question, where do I get this? Where do I get that? Do whatever. Yeah. And there's people that I have never met before or have no knowledge of saying Liberty Supply.
Yeah, our name's being circulated.
Yeah, and then I'll ask them, I'll be like, hey, where'd you hear about Liberty Supply? Thinking they're going to say Blacktop Banter. Mm-hmm. And it won't be. It'll be like, well, I talked to Scott Morris over here or whatever, and he referred me to them or whatever. So it's crazy to think that you can have a business that's niche like this one is.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff you guys sell, we ain't going to find on Amazon or at Walmart.
You actually can. I was just looking into that to see, like, what types of things can people get direct from Amazon and not from us. Wire wheels were like the only thing of relevance that you could get.
Because they can put them on weed eaters.
Yeah. And trust me, they're not the wire wheels that you really want to be using.
No. I used one time. I used some of you give me the twisted wire ones.
Yeah.
And I had the straight wire ones. Dude, they would be sticking out of my pant legs and my arms. They come off and they stick in. You're like, oh.
Painful.
Oh. Yeah. It's like a little mosquito bite, but that stays there. But yeah, I think... it's just crazy to see that can be built and still exist, and that you guys are doing that with good word of mouth. Like I said, kind of in the intro, when you call, you get you directly. Right? It's not like you're in the Bahamas.
No one's going to be answering the phone other than me. I mean, in very, very rare situations will Mike step in, and if sometime in January is typically when I would, if I do go on vacation, that's when I would do it. Yeah. But even then, I went to Thailand this last January and got an international phone plan just so people could, when they called me in the middle of the night, I'd be waking up at 3 a.m. my time or in Thailand.
Do you ship international too?
We have shipped international. We ship to Canada all the time, but we have shipped to Australia twice.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy. It's not something I love doing. But
so tell us a little bit about the the supply and what you guys do, because you guys are known for spray tips. That's kind of the big thing.
That's what we manufacture. Yeah.
And
then we carry a large line of tools. Specifically hand tools, brooms, brushes, lutes, rakes, things like that.
Yeah.
We don't get into much for seal coat rigs or anything like that, other than accessories such as a hose or spray wands.
Yeah, hoses, spray wands, that type of stuff.
Because anything that involves with the plumbing, like we just started carrying pumps, but don't ask me how to plumb one up, because I can tell you right now I wouldn't know how to do it.
There's a video. You go to Blacktop Banter on YouTube.
That's
There's
perfect.
a video on how to plumb
That's
one
perfect.
up.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you tell me how to apply sealer. I would not have the first-hand experience of doing that, but I just know.
Do you know a guy?
What products? Yes, I know a guy.
Yeah,
I know a guy. I know what products work good for doing it based on a large volume of customers who are happy and do it their way.
Well, I was asking you about Bensink rotary broom earlier this year, and still interested. But you were like, yeah, dude, I can get you the price for it. I can hook you up with that. So you do work with a lot of manufacturers as well. Our melters came from you.
Yep.
And then I've seen those on the pallets there as well. So striping stuff, you have some supplies for that. You used to.
In striping, mainly just chalk and stencils.
Yeah.
As far as the sprayers go, I don't have any knowledge on that. Not that I can't learn it, but I just know that that's a field. I feel like it's totally different than the paving side.
Yeah.
That striping side is a different beast.
Yeah.
And time will get me there, but right now I don't have it yet.
So with what you guys supply and what you do, like we said, we sell you guys sell a lot of the tips, but we got a mutual friend that is like a supplier as well, owns like a seal coat supply company that recently come down and got an order, and this was like, I need this, and this, and this, and this.
Yep.
And came down and got it. But also I've been there at your guys' warehouse, and I've seen you like boxing stuff up with saran wrap.
Oh, yeah.
You were like, hey, we're going to ship this and this. This is going there. So tell us a little bit about that process when people order.
It's probably my favorite part of the business, honestly. Getting to talk to people, that's kind of a nice thing. We don't have an e-commerce website, which is a double-edged sword, because I know we could benefit from it. I know it would be easier on some of our customers who want to just kind of click and have it done.
Mm-hmm.
But the other side to that is I don't ever get to meet them if it's like that.
Yeah.
I never get to talk to them. I never get to figure out if something's working for them or not, if something could work better for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of a major downside. The other thing is it's just really, a lot of people are going to free shipping on stuff. But it's like, well, I see people selling a broom head for $75, and I'm thinking, okay, that's free shipping is not worth that.
Yeah.
You get the same broom head for $34 and you make it $10.50 for shipping on it, and then only $45. But it's like, okay, we're good to go.
Yeah. Saved us money.
Yeah. And if you order a lot of things, packing all the tools together, it's like, no, when people are just ordering tips, piece of cake, just get a small box, bag them up, throw them in there.
Yep.
Which is still fun. I like doing that. But when I have like 6 handles of this, 6 handles of that, these odd shaped brooms, like nothing's easy to ship when you start doing 36-inch brushes, 48-inch brushes, these little 7-inch brushings. All these things take up space. V-squeegee heads. So I try and package it up, piece it together. What's going to get there safe, what's not. I've learned a lot of ways that power brushes, if you can say, you spend a little bit more money to get the case of them because they are so safe there. But when you start buying 1 or 2, those metal power brushes,
that's
strips,
what I use.
They get twisted up pretty easy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And there's nothing you can do about it because, let's be honest, I've seen so many times, I don't want to necessarily say who's picking up my packages all the time, but it gets from their hands and then it's tossed in the truck. And it's like, ugh.
It gets shipped in. It's a pretzel by the time it gets to the other side of the country.
Yeah.
So. I think I'll agree with that, because there was like, when I first ordered tips, we went through a couple summers or whatever, and then you were like, hey, you ever try ceramic ones? And I was like, yeah, not really, man, plus they're more expensive, whatever. Right. And you're like, well, some of these guys are swearing by them. Like, you started to share some of your knowledge about guys, and then I was like, all right, well, then maybe we'll try some out. And I think I tried some out, and we had a different type of sealer, and I was like, I don't think it's going to go so hot for me. When we switched, the viscosity of the sealer changed, or the mix design, I came back and tried them again, and now that's all I get from you. I'm like, I just want ceramic tips now. The fan's better. It's nice and uniform. Doesn't finger as bad. And I was telling you that, and you're like, cool. What's fingering? Like what does that mean? Well, you know, the ends are getting a large amount of sealer. There's like a finger of sealer spraying out here to the end. So maybe that's a bad term. Maybe we should change that term to like streaming or something like that. Well, we'll stick with it. It's our industry. There's worse things that have been said in the asphalt industry. And then you know, we were talking about just different things that people use and preferences of other people. I used to use a squeegee, and then you're like, dude, the guys are ordering these power brooms saying they're finishing good. I was like, all right, cool. Well, we'll try some out. Now that's what we do. We switch to the power brooms. And
game changers, I mean, it's all relative, right? If your climate means everything, the
preference.
The level, the quality of the asphalt that you're even seal coating, however, if it's porous or not. I mean, brooms and squeegees, brushes and squeegees are going to be very different in the way your product turns out.
For sure.
So all those things matter. Most of these guys clearly know that already. But if they're asking me, I'm basically just giving them information that I get from a large volume of my customers, what they like, why they like it. You know, Steve Young at a trade show that we were at was giving an explanation on the brush coaters with the wood blocks. And he was saying how with sand, these brooms work great because they don't leave the clumps of sand behind. So it's like all these little things that you don't know until you know. And then he tells me this at the trade show, and then he's telling me all the other tricks when he puts an order in. I'm like, okay, this is good information to have. I'll relay this to anyone who now I know, for at least from one point of view. And guys can take it or leave it. Information is power.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just seen Steve at Pavex this year. Yeah, they got into painting. Yeah, interior painting. Wanted to keep guys business, and now he's like, we went from painting to like. Now we're doing fixtures, we're doing whatever. He's like, it opened up a whole new thing from the seal. He said that's the only thing he could think was relative to like the guys that he had trained to do seal coat. He's like, we'll do interior painting, and then we're going to do design. And then he's like, now we started putting in spiral staircases and just doing all this stuff, whatever. But I'm incredibly proud of the Blacktop Banter Edition seal coating unit, produced in partnership with KM International and available in both 550 and 700 gallon versions. Custom built on the same frame as their bulletproof hot boxes, I work closely with KM to design what I believe is the best seal coating unit on the market, a unit designed by a contractor for contractors. Learn more about the unit and to see a walkthrough of the entire unit by visiting kminternational.com.
If you're serious about efficiency and performance, listen up. The Crafco SuperShot 125 is not just a melter, it's a strategic pavement maintenance advantage. Quick startups, fume-free, automatic agitator shutoff, a splash-proof lid, and pumping on demand, these features are essential for any serious asphalt maintenance contractor. So don't settle for mediocrity. Elevate your game with the Crafco SuperShot line of melters by visiting crafco.com today.
In my opinion, Dynapac CC900G roller is the best roller on the market for driveway and small parking lot paving contractors. The seismic technology in these rollers is unbeatable for the smoothness and compaction they provide, and I choose the Dynapac CC900G over the little yellow roller that you're used to seeing every single time. But don't just take my word for it. Check them out in person at Pavex and World of Asphalt, or visit Dynapac.com to find a dealer near you.
Hey Blacktop Banter fans, this is Michael with Aquafault. Say goodbye to potholes and roadway damage without the need for large crews, heavy equipment, or toxic chemicals. Aquafault is the only permanent repair material for asphalt and concrete that uses water. And installation is simple. Just pour, add water, and tamp. It's that easy. An Aquafault repair can be open to traffic immediately and fully sealed within 24 hours. Plus, the product is backed by a 3-year warranty and made in the USA. Visit aquafault.com. That's AQUAPHALT.com to learn more.
In the past year, Jobber has been our CRM of choice at Wiscode, and it's made our world exponentially better efficiency-wise. The request-to-quote and quote-to-invoice process is seamless and professional. The scheduling aspect keeps us on point and the team leaders moving throughout the day from project to project, while the timesheet feature tracks the team members' hours. For our small seal coating company, it has helped build the solid foundation we can scale from. Jobber is now a sponsor of Blacktop Banter and helps bring this show to you. With this partnership, Jobber is offering an exclusive savings to BB listeners of 20% off for 6 months. To take advantage of this, find the Jobber link in the show description and get to improving your process today.
Hi contractors, it's Kyla from Wiscoat. We use Stencil Plus for all of our pavement marking stencils. Alphabet letters, numbers, directional arrows, handicap markings, you name it. We use it and we get it all from Stencil Plus. Right now, for a limited time, you can save 10% on your stencil order by using code BB10 during checkout at stencilplus.com or by calling 877-372-6055.
In reference to like the information exchange, I was telling you last year, I think, or maybe the year before, that I needed a gum squeegee. Oh, yeah. Because I was like, we're coating concrete, and I don't want to use the brush and keep the brush marks there. Like, you got gum squeegee? Like, oh, yeah, I got that thing. Right. We just need to keep a nice uniform pattern over that thing. And I used it for that job. Right. Didn't use it since. But, I couldn't find one. Right. It was like, well, I know where we can get one. Tell us a little bit more about the transition that happened when you purchased Liberty Supply, because obviously, you guys were farming, right? And then met this guy, and this came. Yep. Tell us a little bit about that process.
Yeah, it was the funniest story. We were going up to Mankato to watch my sister play. Yep. We were in the stands. My dad saw his high school classmate randomly a few sections over. Yep. We meet up. We're chatting. And then after that, every time we go up there, we stay at his place. Yep. We're staying at his place after all these games. We're playing cards after the games. And at the time, and Rich has been in the business. A lot of the guys that will listen to this will know who Rich is.
Were you playing euchre?
We were playing hand and foot. Okay. It's a funny, I don't even know where this game came from. We learned it 5 or 6 years ago, and now it's the only game we play. We play euchre too, but we were playing that all the time. Yep. And over cards, Rich was retiring from the Navy, and my dad was joking about, what are you going to do with this business then? And at this time, we didn't even know what this business was. We just knew he had it.
What were you doing at this time?
I'm just getting out of college, so I'm just going up there to watch and working at a horse ranch as a maintenance guy. Okay. So we're going up there watching, and now we're playing cards. And then we were joking about it one weekend. We went up the next weekend. My dad asked him again and got a little more serious this time. He said, I don't know. I'll sell it to you guys. So, and I was like, I have no idea what you do. And then a week later, he called me and said he wanted to go on a motorcycle ride, and asked if I could just try and do my best and fill in for him for 2 weeks. He was going out west on a motorcycle trip. So I went up there and stayed at his place. He ran out of his house in a warehouse, and for 2 weeks,
you answered the phone and put orders together.
I did everything. I did all the orders I could do and knew I was doing right. Didn't want to screw anything up, but ended up loving it. I thought it was the best thing ever.
Yeah, the craziest story.
I know. So then. At that point, Mike,
the best thing ever.
Yeah, it was the best thing ever.
Okay,
so
bud.
Mike got back from Mike got back from Europe at the same, like literally all this was happening at the same time, and I went up to him, and because he was at that point he was just gonna be a farmer. Yeah. And I said, we have a pretty good opportunity here. What do you think about this? I did it for 2 weeks. I thought it was great. I can see how this has a path to being.
Mike majored in business management.
We both were ag business. Yep.
Yeah, ag business.
Yep. So then, I chatted with him and we thought, let's do it. So in 2015, we officially took over Liberty Supply. We ran it up in Minnesota for the first year as we were learning the ropes, bouncing ideas off of Rich.
Did you guys go stay up there?
We stayed up there. Yep. We drove up every week. Drove up Sunday, came back on Saturday.
Boy. Dang.
Yeah. So it was tough for a year, but honestly, it was the best thing we ever did.
Did.
So we learned a lot. We learned an insane amount that first year. And it was just awesome. And then once we got back to the shop, our space doubled, tripled easily. And then it was easier to have stuff on hand. Once we have stuff on hand, guys are happy when they get it 2 days later.
That's what a lot of people don't understand too, is that the stuff touches your hands. It's not drop shipped.
95% of it touches our hands.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There are occasions where it makes sense. Like if we can get something drop shipped to our customer and we can save them $100 by doing it, we do it. Yeah. But if it's going to cost them extra money, we make sure it doesn't. We don't do that.
You ship it yourself.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So it's almost all of our product comes right from us.
So you what summer was it that you stayed up there?
That was 2015.
Okay, and then you owned it in 2016?
We owned it all of 2015. January, okay. So in January
and then you
15,
moved it back down here in 2016?
We moved it back at the very, very end in November of 15. So
okay.
we went through one full busy season in Minnesota.
Okay.
Came back in November, which was still busy, but not nearly as busy as the summer months are.
Yeah.
But we hauled everything back in 3 or 4 trips with a cow trailer.
Dang,
just
dude.
A big old 17-foot cow trailer, jammed, packed to the top. We fit everything we could in it, and
it was clean though.
Oh yes,
you guys cleaned it out.
Yeah, we cleaned it out. Yeah. Actually, at that time we happened to have just gotten the trailer, so I don't even think we had a cow in it yet.
Oh, perfect.
But it worked great. Yeah.
There's been times when I've come over and been out, and you're like, "We're in the field.
Yeah.
We're calving." Or we're doing hay. Yeah, we're doing whatever. I'm just gonna leave it outside the door for you.
That happens all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And very few people come pick up from us, which is, I like seeing him. And then Marvin's an OG, so he's, he texts me. I know what he needs. I know how he needs.
We got
it.
Kyla running to pick stuff up.
It works
now
great.
We've been busy.
I mean, it's a no-brainer for everyone. Yeah.
So where we're locally there, but back in pre-COVID days, though, we were at the expos and stuff together because I kind of started getting my feet wet.
Yep.
Creating content, not really knowing what we were doing.
Loved it.
And it was great. Right, we did booth interviews. And
prior to this, that was the only time I ever was
interactive with
it, and it was like a 40-second do.
I know.
It was awesome.
But then we did. Then we were at 2017 Nashville. We were at 2018 Cleveland, and then when COVID kind of hit, you guys were like, "Yeah, we're not doing it until the shows get back to where they're going or what they're doing." Is there any interest in coming back now that Pavex has kind of hit it out of the park and whatnot?
100%.
And it'd be nice to get you guys back into the loop, and we can.
We have to, and it's not because it's like a
need.
It's because I want to see these faces.
Yeah,
it's the best thing ever. It's been too long since
How many
I've
best
seen
things ever are there?
There's
a lot in this industry. There's a lot in
because they're never for the same thing. It's just a lot of different ways. Yeah,
all right, cool. They're all separate best things.
Yes,
Right, fine, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit then about what it looks like. You guys have a great customer base. You supply great product. You have a great customer relationship and whatnot with what you guys do, and great customer service. Is that something where you guys are like, this is what we're going to do, this is how it's going to be, and for the time that we have it? Or is there aspirations to change things up at all, or what do you think?
I think we're on a trajectory that we want. We really like what the market that we're in, as far as we don't want to ever deal with product because there's, no matter who calls on the phone, their biggest gripe is either help or the product.
Yep.
Every time. So I don't want to ever get into that. Yeah. I'll give you all the tools that you need to use that stuff, but never want to deal with those headaches. Because
hey, guess what? That is not the best thing ever.
That is not the best thing ever. No, but as far as Mike has mentioned interest. He does want to focus more on just the farming aspect of it. So I'm sure over the next 10 years
he loves that.
Yep,
that's the best thing ever.
Yep, that is his best thing ever.
Even he ran over a deer antler one year when I was there, and his tire was shot, and he was
the worst.
He was, "Whoa, hey, come look at this."
Yeah, he had to
like,
show you.
I'm like, how much does a tire cost? He's like, just look at this deer antler. I'm like, there's not a downer about this at all. He's like, no, we'll get another one put on. He's like, but look at this deer antler.
I know.
Like, okay, hand me it. I'll look at it.
Yeah, right.
Me being a business mindset, but, thinking about, oh my gosh, your tractor's down. How much production are we losing?
Right.
He was like, there's a big one roaming around. Okay.
There really is too. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys are going to focus on that, and
if the main thing is if we already know that the tools and tips and things that we sell are quality. I mean, and no matter what, like I've told you about this 100 times, you could have 10 different loads of sealer and none of them are going to be the same. So 8 of them could run great through our tips and one's going to suck. And I get that. And it's like, I'm never going to tell you that our tips are the end all be all. Like they're going to be great a lot of the time, and they're going to suck sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of how it is.
Well, there's a variable. The sealer's the variable.
It is.
If it sits in my tank over the weekend and it's hot and humid, the viscosity changes.
Right.
And a lot of times you need to make an adjustment with your sealer in order to get the tips to function correctly.
Yep. There's so many things, so many variables. Yeah. And that's kind of why with our tips, the way we have an accurate flow rate with them is everything is done with water, which I know is not the same as sealer. But if you're trying to get a specific flow rate, that's going to be way more consistent. We'll know 4 gallons a minute with water is 4 gallons a minute with water. That's just what it is. Yeah. And then once you just have to
how much is it with sealer? I don't know, but I know it's 4 gallons a minute with water.
Exactly. Yeah. Hey, you have to figure out a little bit. You put a 80-40 tip on there, that's 4 gallons a minute with sealer. If that with sealer comes out of there, it might be 3 gallons a minute. But at least now you have an exact baseline. Yeah. If that 4 hours is 3 gallons a minute, you just figure it out. Yeah.
Sure. Can we get that chart at Liberty Supply?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's like I said. You add sand to it. Now it's 2.5 gallons a minute. You add other. You know
more than I do about it.
No. I just know that sealer is thick. Yeah. Water is not.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Sealer's thicker than water.
Sealer's thicker than water.
All right. We're gonna get T-shirts.
That's a good one.
That'll be collab T-shirts made up. Well, where can people hop on and check you guys out? I know on Instagram, it's Liberty Supply _MFG. Yep. We'll go ahead and tag you guys on all that stuff. But and then Liberty Supply is also on LinkedIn, I believe. So I checked it on there.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So you're not on LinkedIn.
Not on LinkedIn. I regrettably am not.
But we can find you on Facebook, and then what's the website?
LibertySupply.biz. B-I-Z.
What's the phone number?
795-2419.
Okay,
608-795-2419.
Okay, man. Well, dude, I really appreciate you joining us today. It's been fantastic. Awesome. Guys, this podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and probably anywhere else where you listen. And while you're doing that, pull your phone out or get on your computer if you're going to go check out Sam's website and go to blacktopbanter.com. While you're there, there's a drop-down tab for the Blacktop Banter Success Group. Actually, I think it's at the top now. I don't think it's in the drop-down. Chris redid the website. So it's at the top there. Click that. Blacktop Banter Success Group is a group of contractors that meet every month, multiple times in the month. We have a 24/7 chat group. We meet on Zoom calls. It's a way for us to have a mastermind group to get information, share information, get new information, that type of stuff, and just have a resource between all of each other to make sure we try to succeed the best we can. Also, when you're over there, down below a little bit is the newsletter sign up for Between the Lines, Blacktop Banter's newsletter written by contractors for contractors. Please sign up for that. And then also, please jump over to missionimpact.com. Mission Impact is a nonprofit in Guatemala. We provide fuel-efficient stoves, clean water, and custom-built wheelchairs to people who don't have access in those areas. Online, you can find Blacktop Banter anywhere on social media. Just type in Blacktop Banter. You'll see some posts from us, posts partnering with Liberty Supply. And, follow along. Check us out. We got a lot coming up. And Sam and these guys are going to be back at the shows here coming up.
Exactly.
So
we'll meet you there.
All right, buddy. I appreciate you joining me today. All right, so for myself and Sam, who's also in the studio, this is Blacktop Banter, where we speak asphalt. Peace.
Appreciate it.
Hey, everybody, Marvin here from Blacktop Banter. And if you enjoy the podcast and what we've been bringing to the industry, you can support us through a one-time or recurring donation at blacktopbanter.com. There we have a support tab. You click that and choose your path from there. If you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please do us a favor and leave a review there for us as well. As always, we speak asphalt, and thanks for your support. This episode of Blacktop Banter is brought to you by Crafco, the world's leading manufacturer of packaged pavement preservation materials and equipment for the asphalt industry. Learn more at crafco.com.